Take 5. Hello and welcome back to Wine Reform. So I used to be in a wine subscription service and I am not anymore. I'm not going to name it either because it's not sponsored. However, I did get a bottle of Monastrell through one of these unnamed services and I have been waiting to open it with you guys. That's right, we are back for another wine from around the world. So Monastrell is a black grape that's got very small berries and thick dark skins, ridiculously packed with tannin. It makes wine that is very meaty and herbaceous and very heavy bodied. And this grape grows very well in dry, warm climates. So if this sounds familiar, Monastrell is actually Mourvedre. So depending on where it is from, it has a few different names. However, if it's from Spain, you're gonna hear it being called by its Spanish name. It is grown mostly in that Iberian Peninsula, however there's also some plantings of Monastrell in California and Australia. Again, warm, dry climates. However, the one we are going to be trying is from Spain. This Monastrell we have today is from the Jumilla region in Spain. Jumilla is a Denominación de Origen that is within the region of Murcia in Spain. Murcia is home to 3 Denominación de Orígenes, Jumilla, Bullas, and Yecla. So the whole region of Murcia is kind of tucked away in the south. For you guys, it's going to be this way, the southeast corner of Spain, and it kind of sits on the Mediterranean. So we're only focusing on Jumilla within Murcia, obviously, because that's where wine is from. So Jumilla is further inland. It is a very, very hot, very, very dry region because it is separated from that ocean. It's got very continental sort of climate going. It's got a very continental climate going on. So it is an ideal place for Monastrell. The wide, flat plains of Jumilla are bisected kind of in the middle by mountains that go from the Sea of Murcia all the way to the Central Plateau in Spain. So the vines in this region, not the vines today specifically, but vines in the region of Jumilla in general have been grown there since the Roman Empire. But like I said, not the same vines because, like most of Europe, that region took a huge hit. Thank you, phylloxera, in the late 1800s. However, the region was declared a Denominación de Origen in 1966, and Jumilla has been one ever since. So now we are going to be trying the wine. So this is our wine. Today we are trying the 2017 Altos de la Hoya Monastrell by Olivares. So it kind of says on the label that Olivares has been around since 1930. So I'm assuming that Olivares has been making wine in Jumilla since before the region was declared a DO. Because that is a thing you can do. You can grow wine in a place that's not labeled for a specific kind of wine growing, whatever. You know, except for maybe in France, but I'm not entirely sure, so maybe I'll have to check those laws again. Anywho, I said earlier that this did come through a wine subscription service that I'm not naming because I'm not sponsored. So I don't remember exactly what the breakdown was for this bottle, although in general this particular vintage costs about $12.99 per bottle. That's enough talk. Let's get it open. I'm so ready to try this thing. So when I opened it up, that's no bueno. I don't know if you can tell, but it was chipped. However, I'm not wasting the wine, so I'm gonna go ahead and decant this before we get going with our tasting. Alrighty, I don't think you guys have ever seen me decant anything on this channel before, so what I did was I just took out the cork as carefully as I could. I took a cloth and I very carefully wiped around the rim, the neck of that bottle and the rim there, just to make sure that I don't get any glass bits, and I will not be pouring from the side with the glass, so safety first. Oh, here we go. Was that the official proper way to decant a wine? No, it was not. It is not what is taught to sommeliers. However, that's what I got. So here we are. And that is plenty. All right, if you've been here before, you know the drill. If you have not, welcome, good to have you. We have fun here, we like wine, and if you like wine, you should stick around. So let's get started with our tasting. The first thing we do when evaluating wine is look at it. We are looking for clarity and for color and to see how deep that color is, that intensity. I've got my handy dandy white sheet of paper and we're gonna take a look. So she is beautiful. This is a very garnet wine. It's a deep red with far more brown notes than purple ones, so I'm gonna call this garnet. In terms of intensity, I would say it has a nice deep intensity. Definitely what I would expect out of a nice heavy grape. And the clarity, despite having come from a chipped bottle, is fantastic. So I'm very happy about that. Glad I did that right. Alrighty. Next thing we do when we evaluate wine is we sniff it. We are trying to see what our nose can pick out, and it's going to be different for everyone. So no one person is going to perceive a wine the same. There's some general guidelines, but in terms of what we specifically associate with what we are smelling, that's going to differ. So there's no right or wrong answer. There's like, maybe there's something that's really off, like if you're smelling a red wine and you, I don't know, smell pineapple, might be a little weird, but like I said, it is all in the nose of the beholder. So let's give it a sniff. Okay, so I am getting fruit first. It is a 2017 wine and it's, gosh, 2021 now, but I still really do perceive that deep red fruit. I'm thinking cranberry and sour cherry. It kind of smells like Thanksgiving in a way. I definitely also got a bit of green, although for some reason, for me, it came out in the form of like a green onion, which is pleasant to me. I like that smell. And in terms of those tertiary notes, I definitely did get that leathery, sort of mushroomy quality. So very, very pleasant to smell. Oh, and the intensity, that was intense. Like, I hold it here, whoosh, I can smell it. So intense nose. All right, and now everyone's favorite part, we taste it. We're going to be evaluating the palate. So if you go ahead and you sip a wine and you take a few more sips out of someone else's glass, just tell them, I'm evaluating the palate. So let's give it a sip and see what we can get. She's good. She is so good. All right, first off, everything I tasted, smelled, everything I smelled, I could taste. Check. In terms of the tannin, intense. It honestly felt like licking granite. So I'm gonna say some heavy granite tannin. That acidity, what a zinger. I could definitely feel it on the sides of my mouth. It was a very dry wine, really no residual like sugar on the tongue. So very, very good. What else was there? I'm trying to rack my brain and yes, the finish. Long finish, very, very nice. And the alcohol felt very high. In fact, I can still kind of feel that warmth like in the back of my mouth and in my throat. So high alcohol. Actually, let's see. Yep, she's pretty high. She is at 14.5%. So definitely high alcohol. In terms of what I would pair it with, I'm definitely feeling the classic steaks. Like, you can't go wrong with steak. I'm kind of thinking things with bitter herbs, Brussels sprouts, and maybe like some of the arugula. That's a bitter green. Definitely would go very well with that. I do think that it would cut the fat of a lot of foods very nicely. So if you've got like a heavy, greasy cut of meat, whatever that meat is, I think it would work very well. That acidity and that alcohol would just wash your tongue very well every single time you take a bite, so it would make the food taste better. Asparagus, mushrooms, charred. I think that's a thing. Editing me will put it up on the screen if it's a thing. Anything that a child would most likely turn their nose up at, unless you have trained your children well, I definitely think it would pair very well with this wine. So, yeah. I appreciate it. If you are someone who appreciates very dry, very intense sort of aromas, flavors, whatnot out of your wine, definitely try a Spanish Monastrell. I think that you would very much appreciate it. And if you're very used to having like California wine, California cabs, and you're used to getting like French Bordeaux wines and the like, branch out a little. I think that this would fit very nicely with the things that you already love, and just, you know, break it up a little, you know, have some fun. So that was delicious. I mean, again, I love wine. Wine has to be, like, there has to be something seriously wrong with the wine for me not to like it, but I'm just telling you guys what I perceive. So maybe you can make a decision on whether or not you would like to give it a go, depending on what you prefer. Oh, so good. Well, thank you for joining me for this episode of Wine Reform. If you haven't been here before, welcome again. And if you have been here before, welcome back. I definitely love sharing red wines with you guys, and especially as we get into those colder months, reds are awesome. I think that I really gravitate toward those when it starts getting very chilly. Like, you know, you need something to warm you up. It's kind of why people, I don't know, drink whiskey in the wintertime. So, very tasty. Ooh, this is going to be the last time I see you guys before Halloween, so happy Halloween! I'm very excited for that. Are you guys going to be doing anything fun for Halloween? I know that last year, because we were deep in the middle of COVID and had no vaccine, you know, things were a little different, but this year, you know, it's depending on your status, it might be a little safer to see friends and family. So do you have any fun plans? Are you going to be, I don't know, throwing a little Halloween party, or maybe, I don't know, just sitting outside and staring at the moon? Whatever it is, yeah, let me know. I want to know. I love Halloween. How are you guys going to be celebrating it? And with that being said, I had a blast talking to you guys about wine, and I will see you guys again in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.